Good evening, everyone. What's up? Ate a satisfying meal, topped it off with amazing dessert. Mr. Hot speaking. Previously, there was the 8th part to the ultimate rant on SpongeBob SquarePants. This is the 9th part. This might be the final part to the SpongeBob rant. It's going to be really short, really brief. Let's go. Ugh. Sarah, here's a message to SpongeBob. This show needs to be put to bed. It needs to be put to rest. It needs to be put in. It needs to rest in peace already. It has had enough of. It has occupied enough space on Nickelodeon for years. It needs to be put. It needs to be put to peace already and restored. It needs to be restored into peace. If they don't do that, this show needs to be buried 100 feet under the ground in a cemetery or a graveyard and set on fire. That's what they need to do with this show if they're not going to take it off air. This show needs to not air for years. It has aired enough that it doesn't need to air anymore. If it would be okay if they had done that for a year or two, but no, they've done that for years. They've done that for at least half a decade. No, that's not cool. That's not what they were supposed to do. They need to give the show a long break. No, this show has already had a long life on TV. It needs to be dead already. It needs to be taken off the air and released from TV. If they can't do that, then they have a serious problem. It's like, when will the show stop airing on TV already? If they're not gonna do that, just don't air it this often. It's not helping the situation of Nickelodeon's downfall by airing SpongeBob all day long. This show should have been put to rest years ago. Well, not a decade ago. Look, it's okay that it had a couple more seasons, but since there's nothing to look forward to this show whatsoever, this show needs to be put to rest and finished with and be done with. It needs to be dropped off Nickelodeon and be sent away into a scrapyard. It needs to be sent to the scrap works and scrapped for good. That is what needs to happen to this show. If they don't do that to this show, there will be a serious problem. Because it's like, this one show, every other show has been put to rest, yet this show still hasn't, and yet this show hasn't proven itself that it deserves to be on. Let this show be free from TV. Give it freedom. Let the show rest. Let the show run away. Do whatever to make the show stop being on TV. They can't do this for years anymore. They've done this for too many years. If they do this in 2000, well, it's gonna be 2016 next year. But if they're doing this in 2017, there's gonna be a serious problem. If they do this in 2018, one's going to be questioning why. If they do this in 2019, people are going to be out of their minds. If they do this in 2020, the next decade to come, people are going to be screaming their brains out. That's probably what's going to happen if this show continues to air. Let's hope this show's done after season 10, and let one hope that this show will be done by 2016 or 2017. The next episodes won't be out probably till 2017 probably. But let's say goodbye to the show. People need to, Nickelodeon just needs to say goodbye to the show and move on. They haven't moved on with this show. It's come. The show has had its long period of enjoyment. Now it is the year where it needs to move on. A show can't be on a channel forever. It can't. It's not fair that this show gets to be on forever and not for a long period, and yet all the other shows don't get to. Need to move on with this show and stick to something else already. Ugh. Any more words to say before this rant gets wrapped up? No. With that, that might be the final part to the SpongeBob rants for months. That's all there's to say for this rant. See you on the next rant. Peace out. Yeah, good night.